How about now? Do we have audio now? There we go. Okay, I mean, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I'm always curious about why, we have some inconsistency there. Again, as I was mentioning earlier, put your comments and your questions in the comments center, and we'll get started here in just a few minutes. We are watching for storms over Atlanta right now. So these storms are producing over 2-inch size hail, over golf ball size hail, about the size of 2 inches.
How
And
about now?
oh, okay, so I can hear my audio, which means you should be able to hear it as well. I was asking earlier, did you guys like that intro? We had a different intro than what we normally do. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Well, let me know in the comments. Let's get into the radar here. What you're looking at is just outside of Atlanta. On the north side of Atlanta, we do have those storms moving in. Milton, Alpharetta, OC, Johns Creek, Suwannee, Sugar Hill. These have in the past produced, and it looks like we're confirming this once again, they have produced over golf size hail. So these are warned for golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Let's see, into Sugar Hill, Johns Creek. Where are we watching for the largest hail? I would say it's not looking too impressive on our correlation coefficient, but we're probably watching for that large hail and probably a good amount of lightning and thunder as well right in this area. OC, Alpharetta, also looking for some hail in this area as well. So we haven't seen some confirmed. And here, let's switch back over here and let me show you. Let's go here and we'll talk about what we've seen already. So let's zoom out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing right now. The ones that we are most interested in are those storms that have a black box around the yellow box. Do you see that? That's kind of emboldened in black. That is where we are watching for the largest hail. So we've already seen this storm. I was wondering if there was a 2-incher in here. There is a 2-inch hen egg at the size of a lime sized hail report near Dabbs Bridge Road and Dripping Rock Trail. Again, just outside of Atlanta. Okay, so here's Atlanta. There's Ackworth. There's that 2-inch report right there in Paulding, Georgia. Got some good hail from this storm. Even though, not all these are 2-inchers, we still got golf ball, ping pong ball size hail into Woodstock. And this severe thunderstorm just continued to track to the east on the north side of Atlanta into Milton, Alpharetta, Webb, OC, Brookwood. Now we're continuing to see these really strong storms across Sugar Hill. Now, these are warned for some smaller hail, I think, quarter-sized hail. The farther east that you go, the more you get out of this strong storm. And I think the more that these start to cluster all together, yeah, see how this storm right here, whenever it was producing that 2-inch size hail, look how isolated it was. And then as they start to cluster all together, I think we're going to really struggle to see that large hail. Yeah, we're going to struggle whenever we get all these storms clustered together. So this is north of Atlanta. Again, put your questions in the comments center. Let me know where you're watching from this evening. Even if your state isn't getting hit, you may just be curious to know what states are getting hit right now. Let me know where you're watching from. We've got another severe thunderstorm warning that produced $half size hail up in McMinnville. This is pretty far outside of Nashville in Tennessee. Ooh, we even got a 2.25-incher. Okay, I didn't see this earlier. This is in northeastern Georgia, zooming out here, Alabama. Okay. In Albertville, Alabama, over 2-inch size hail. That's pretty decent size hail right there. From this, no, maybe in this storm. Again, watch how this storm, as it can stay isolated, we call this a discrete supercell, is producing hail over the size of 2 inches. But as they all kind of cluster together, you can see those hail sizes drastically go down very quickly as well, to only less than the size of a quarter marble-sized hail as these storms all cluster together. So I'm not expecting these storms to produce anything else too impressive. Even these storms down in Altoona, I think that they're all clustered together too much as well, quarter-size hail. Scott's on here. He's saying hello. Thanks for watching this evening, Scott. We've been watching these storms out of Atlanta, or I guess to the north of Atlanta. We got a 2-incher just to the north of Atlanta earlier. So we're going to continue to watch these storms through Sugar Hill, Jefferson, Winder. This severe thunderstorm warning goes until, I'm finding it here, until 9 o'clock Eastern time. This goes until 9 o'clock for golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So we do have about 30 more minutes left on this storm right here that's in Sugar Hill right now. However, I'm wondering how long it can sustain itself. I'm thinking not very long, because it is starting to get crowded in there. And every time that we see all of these storms start to crowd each other, that hail size inevitably goes down. Now, here's one that I think is quite interesting. This storm out near Townville, Anderson, on the west side of South Carolina. Now, this storm is warned for golf ball size hail as well. It's not confirmed. It's a radar indicated. Let's pull this storm up on GR Analyst. So we'll go to our 4 box over here and we'll pull the storm up. It'll take a minute, but that'll give me enough time to switch over here. There we go. So here's your 4 box. We talk about this quite often if you watch our live streams. GR2 shows this 4 box of your classic radar reflectivity. We've also got we've got storm relative velocity on the upper right-hand side. VIL, V-I-L, which is a pretty good indicator of hail. Not all the time, but most of the time. And then over here on the bottom right is the correlation coefficient. So what we're watching for here are some of those blues and greens to pop up. If we can get those greens, that's where you're going to expect to see the hail. So right where that red square is, I think is probably where the hail is most likely to be. And again, this is in Star, Due West, Anderson, South Carolina. We have a question on here. Can you check Louisville, Kentucky? Did Louisville get storms earlier today? I feel like I remember seeing that at some point, but that may have been a few days ago. All the storm days kind of run together, don't they? Especially within the last week, all these storm days just kind of run together. All righty. Going up to Kentucky, getting to Louisville. There you go. Oh, it's raining right now. We don't have anything severe coming in, and I really doubt that this will go severe. I think that most of Kentucky is out of that severe risk. You've still got the southern and the eastern sides in that severe risk. However, I highly doubt that this goes severe. I would expect this to be light to moderate rain. And you probably are done with your severe risk, at least for the next day or two, at least, if not even longer than that. Louisville, Kentucky. But we did get storms out here, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, earlier today. We were live covering that as they popped up over St. Louis. Let's see how far back this radar goes. Oh, there you go. We had some good storms over Evansville. This is about 4 hours ago. Even a confirmed tornado. This is just to bearings here. This is in southern Indiana, just to the north of Evansville. Yeah, we even had a confirmed tornado out of this. Other than that, it kind of turned into a weak wind event, 58, 60 miles an hour, not terribly impressive there. Louisville was just outside of the hail over here, but it wasn't too big. It was about an inch in size. Here you guys got an incher over there, just outside of the city into Kentucky. Storms came into Louisville. Let's see, what did they do? They weakened quite significantly before they actually got to Louisville proper. You guys got rain for a little bit, and it seems like you didn't get anything over the size of an inch. So that quarter size hail is all that you got. Who else is on here? Do we only have Louisville tonight, or do we have a few more people out of the across the U.S.? We usually have a lot of people on from places like Atlanta, Birmingham, whatever's getting hit at the time. Speaking of Birmingham, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning now issued for Birmingham proper. Now it's going to the east side of the city, but what we're expecting from this, my assumption here is it's going to be a wind maker. 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and quarter-sized hail is what we've got going on in Birmingham. We do have quarter-sized hail in here. Now, this is what we told you earlier today during our noon show. We said it would start off as a hail event and then slowly transition to a wind event. One thing, and I'll be honest here, I expected that we would get 2-inch size hail. However, I didn't expect to see it come this far south. I expected it to be a whole wind event by this point. I did not expect that 2-incher to be this far south into Georgia. I see another question popping up on here. Scott saying, I heard next Monday is supposed to be strong for weather in Louisville. Yeah, you know, I actually have graphics for next Monday, but it may be just as easy to pull up the Storm Prediction Center. That's something that we can do here. And if you guys hear wrestling in the background, that is because, or, you know, just noises in the background. That's because it's about dinner time and we are making dinner. My husband's making dinner over there, which is very sweet. I'll eat here in a few minutes once we get these storms through here, or once they weaken at least. All right, let's go to Monday's outlook. There you go. Why are we over here? I have no idea. So here's from the Storm Prediction Center. This is for Monday. We're answering Scott's question. I heard next Monday is supposed to be strong for weather in Louisville. And look at that. Louisville is just right in the bullseye here, included in this risk that we have 5 days out. Now, anytime that we see storms that we're expecting 5 days out, we know that it's probably going to be pretty widespread. Now, I know this is a small area to highlight right now, but as we get more information over the next few days, this will most likely get a little bit bigger for where we expect those storms to be. I'll show you something that we look at quite often to identify areas that we're watching for severe storms. I pulled up our College of DuPage website. It's a great website for forecasting. It's one of my favorites to use. What we can do on this is we can look on our upper air models. So I chose an upper air model here. We're at 250 millibars, one of the highest that you can get for models in the atmosphere. And what we're watching for here is we're looking for these troughs. Do you see how it kind of dips down? This is the jet stream. Do you see how the jet stream dips down? Anytime we can get these reds in here and a dip, that's whenever we know that severe weather is pretty likely. Now, out to the west right now, we've got a high pressure system starting to build. And what that means is no severe weather. It's going to stay calm. It's going to stay really quiet out to the west. It's going to stay pretty hot. It pulls in this hot air out from Mexico and makes it really hot and dry for a little bit. But we will start to see, and let me give you your timeline here. We start to see things change as we go over the weekend and into the work week. And so what we're looking at here is late on Monday, it looks like we start to see this trough come back into the picture here. We do have those reds. We call that a jet streak. And this tells us that even this far out, even 5 days out, we know that we are likely to see some strong storms right in here, anywhere from, and I'm going to go ahead and extend what the National Weather Service or the Storm Prediction Center already had, right? They included Louisville in this, but I'm going to go ahead and extend that a little bit farther out into northern Ohio, all the way out to maybe southern Missouri and northern Arkansas. Okay, so I'm going to extend that out from what they had earlier. I'm just going to kind of pull it back to the west a little bit and then go up maybe a little bit farther up to the north. And you can really tell because that's where we see the strongest winds, especially anytime that we're seeing that coming out on the right side of this trough. That's where we know that there will most likely be severe weather. What other questions do we have this evening? I have a few more minutes before I have to jump off of here. We have one question about Elkmont, Alabama. Say that 5 times fast. 5 times fast. That's a hard thing to say. Elkmont, Alabama. Now, for those of you who don't know, that's in the north central side of Alabama. So let's switch back over from our, hang on one second. Switch back over from our screen that shows from our models to GR Earth. And we'll look at Elkville, Alabama. Okay, so, or Elkmont, excuse me. Elkmont, Alabama is out of the rain right now. Maybe a few sprinkles, if anything. So here we go. This is where we're looking for right here. And you should be out of the severe risk. Let's take a look at your winds. So winds are not terribly clear, but I do think that once we start to get this north wind here, that's whenever we start to see that severe risk go down pretty significantly. I want to look at your temperature here as well. Look at that difference. Look at the difference between temperatures in Birmingham at 75 degrees. It's pretty warm, right? 58 up in Decatur. Almost a 20-degree temperature difference here. So anytime that we see that cold air hit, and then we see that north wind in there as well, that means your severe risk is over. So for that question about Elkmont, Alabama, you're probably out of the severe risk now. I'm calling it severe clear. Not too worried about your severe storms. Not too worried about these in Birmingham either. I think that this is going to be a wind and very small hail, if anything at all. We've got some reports from the emergency managers just outside of Birmingham saying that in places like, some cities on here, Cleveland, Alabama, Locust Fork, all good. We're seeing that Blount'sville, we're seeing reports of multiple trees down in this area, multiple trees down in the Cleveland area, multiple trees down. That's what these little icons mean. They mean that there's some sort of wind impact there. Oh, this one says tree down on a house off of Joy Road out in Blount'sville. And my assumption here, and I could be wrong, however, I bet if you take a look at the 7-day rainfall totals in this area, it would be pretty wet. The soil is wet, right? So it doesn't take much for that high wind to come in and knock over those trees because the soil is wet and very loose. And so trees can fall down really easy at that point, unfortunately, falling down on a house here. Scott asking, how do I get the text to pop up on the screen? Does it feel a little funny that your texts are popping up on the screen? We use a service called Restream, and they will pop it up for, like, we can go over to your text and pop it up. Any other questions? We'll do a little around the radar while we're waiting for our questions to come in. What are we seeing now? These storms have weakened pretty significantly, and we kind of expected them to as they started to become a lot more clustered. as they become more clustered, they kind of run into each other. They don't have as much space to organize, and a disorganized storm is most likely not going to produce large hail. It's most likely not going to, it just doesn't have enough room to rotate, right? It has to become pretty organized to rotate, build that strong updraft. Now, the National Weather Service does still have this storm right here in Sugar Hill, warned for golf ball size hail. I wonder if they're going to update that warning to quarter size hail. This one right here from Jefferson to Nicholson down to Athens. This is for quarter size hail. Athens, Georgia there. We do finally start to have some storms coming into Atlanta proper. This one on the north side of Atlanta, just barely hitting the north side of the metro. This storm is warned for golf ball size hail. Let's see about this one. I bet it's quarters. Yep, quarters, 60 mile per hour winds and quarter size hail. I know we have a lot of people joining from X right now, I see that you're joining on here. I know that you can't comment on X, but if you head over to our Facebook or our YouTube, I think we're only actually on YouTube right now. If you head over to our YouTube pages, you can comment, and then you can see your own comments pop up on the screen. Scott, you came really close to that tornado in Linden K. That's really scary. I'm glad that you're okay. That's very scary. Scott said, severe weather outbreak on last Wednesday, Thursday. One of the tornadoes almost hit my house. The tornado was in J-Town, and Scott lives in Linden K, pretty close by. Well, I'm really glad that you're okay. That's a scary deal. There was a lot of tornadoes this past week. Here, I'll see how many. We can actually take a look at that. One of my favorite websites to go to here, we'll pull this back up while we're watching these storms. Sometimes we get distracted, and I used to try to stay on track, but now, and here, this is what we'll do. We'll go ahead and pull GR Earth up on the side so you can still see the radar, so you can still see those storms coming into Atlanta right now. So you can watch that on the far right-hand corner of the screen. But one thing that I want to talk about, and I've been monitoring very closely here, is our storm reports for the full year. So this is for all of 2025. All of those red triangles are tornado reports. That's a lot. 515 tornado reports so far this year. 72 of those are strong tornadoes. That's those larger triangles there. 72 of those are those strong tornadoes, EF2 greater. Strong tornadoes there. We even saw a few tornadoes reported out in California, one in Idaho, one in South Dakota, and then a lot across the US. The number one day, if we kind of get down here, let's go to March, because the number one day for tornadoes was on, I think, March 15th. That makes sense. That Saturday, March 15th. And on that day, 296 tornadoes were reported. Holy moly. A lot of those, yeah, Scott, you're right. A lot of those in Kentucky, on the northern side, right near Louisville. Now, one thing that I've also been keeping an eye on, we'll go back to annual here. We're almost to 1,000 hail reports, severe hail, quarter size or larger. So we'll come out with that report whenever, we'll let you guys know whenever we hit that 1,000 mark. And then severe wind is abundant. We get reports about severe wind all the time. Pretty busy hail season. Here we can just highlight those hail reports here. So 948 hail reports for the entire year so far. If we look at where, let me drag this down. If we look at where those hail reports, or when those hail reports happened, by like the middle of March, I think that one was March 14th right there. And then we were very, very busy at the end of March and into early April. And then we got a lot quieter and a lot calmer by the past 3 or 4 days here. It's been a lot quieter. I wonder if this includes today. I don't know if it does. So these are the hail reports for April, but I don't think that this includes today. So I'm quite interested to see this report tomorrow and see how it has updated. I wonder if we will hit our 1,000th report. Oh, here, let me pull GR Earth back up for you. All right, storms coming into Atlanta right now are warned for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and quarter-size hail. They're moving to the southeast at 50 miles an hour. Other than that, we do not have a severe thunderstorm warning right now for anything larger than a quarter. So I'm going to hop off of here. Let me check this one. Just make sure that's not quarter size or larger. Nope, smaller than the size of a quarter, nickel-sized hail. So I'm going to hop off of here and leave you guys to enjoy the rest of your Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening at this point. Sun's starting to go down here in Oklahoma. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you hit that follow button wherever you are watching. Of course, we'll be keeping you updated on all of those hail reports and any hail that we see over the next 24 hours. Our meteorologists are mapping it. We have someone staffed 24/7. We also have a noon forecast tomorrow, so follow us to watch that forecast live every single weekday at noon. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you back here at noon for your Friday.